It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
When you think of NBA duos, you might think of Kawhi and PG or LeBron and AD, but the Locked On Podcast Network has Hollinger and ND. It's the Hollinger and Duncan NBA show. Follow now on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your preferred podcast provider.
Welcome, everybody, to the Locked On Lakers podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin. I'm joined by Pete Zayas. Pete, an NBA team signed Carmelo Anthony, and it isn't the Los Angeles Lakers.
After them passing the first 6 times, I was pretty sure the Lakers weren't going to sign him, but now it's official. We'll see how long it lasts. But yes, the national nightmare is over.
It's things are pretty bad in Portland when they have absolute dire needs at center, and they think Carmelo Anthony is the direction to go. That's just that they've been.
You think they make the playoffs?
No.
Wow.
No, because they are hoping that Nurkic comes back from an absolutely, actually gruesome injury and is ready to go and pick up the load when he gets back. And even then, until he gets back, they are relying on Hassan Whiteside, who has not been a part of a winning team since before he got paid, and Pau Gasol when he comes back, and
Zach Collins got hurt.
Yeah. So I don't think. I mean, it depends on how big a hole they dig for themselves. But I don't see that ending very well. I kind of wonder if they're going to look back on this last offseason and kind of regret not blowing it up, but kind of looking a little harder into what they could have done with CJ McCollum or whatever.
Sure.
Because now his value is depreciated. I don't really know. Now everybody kind of knows, all right, I guess when you have to have a certain kind of point guard alongside or a certain kind of team around McCollum to make it work.
I mean, that's true. That's true. It's been 12 games. They just had that awesome, series where they closed out on OKC. Mm-hmm. Did they get to the conference finals? They lost to Denver, right? So that was in the
no. They beat Denver.
Semis. Oh no, they beat Denver, so they did get to the conference finals. That's right.
And then they got swept by Golden State.
I mean, we're 12 games that matter away from that. So I'm gonna say it's gonna click for them. They probably find a way to get Whiteside fewer minutes. Dame goes on a run, goes nuts. I think they do get in the playoffs. Should we put this on the board? Should we put stakes on this?
So? Oh, yeah, let's do that. Good call.
I'm going to say Portland. I make bad bets. Look at me being all producer-like.
That was well done. I was not even thinking about it. But yeah, all right. So Pete has the Blazers in the playoffs. Portland.
They're
playoffs.
currently 4-8.
Mm-hmm. Pete.
And the 12th seed in the West.
No. I kind of feel like I should get some kind of additional odds here, but you know what? We'll just make it a straight up bet.
Have you ever seen that thing where the playoff seed, not necessarily the seeds, but the top 8 is 90-95% set after the first 10 games? If you're not in the top 8 after the first 10. Yeah. So I'm actually betting against the odds pretty heavily here. It's about 9-1 odds where Portland being at 4-8 in the 12th seed, you only get into the playoffs when you're outside of the top 8 10% of the time if it's after 10 games.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. I guess. Yeah, it's weird. We're both kind of betting on a certain type of odds. You're betting on the current odds, right? The mathematical odds that most teams face right now. Right. But heading into the season, if you would have told me, hey, Portland isn't going to make the playoffs, I probably would have called you kind of crazy. But
right. Phoenix is going to be the 8th seed over them. Yeah, that would have sounded nuts.
No, my thing with Portland last year was that, and by the way, this is the Locked On Lakers podcast. We're going to open up the mailbag. I promise we're going to get to Lakers topics. But the thing with Portland last year, they had some astronomical luck. Insane luck down the stretch of not just their own guys staying healthy, but opposing key players getting hurt in games that they absolutely needed to win. Now, they got to the playoffs and they obviously looked really good, beating Denver in a 7-game series, winning a Game 7, I believe, in Denver. That's legit. That's a legitimate win. even without Nurkic. I think they did that without Nurkic. So like they had a really good season last year, but I just they had a weird vibe going about them. I had a weird feeling about them going into the season, and they've somehow, like, it's that meme. I had low expectations, but holy shit, right? Like that's kind of what Portland has been, and Golden State for that matter. What a weird year that Golden State and Portland Golden State's definitely going to be out of it. This
feels like one of those the league is changing type of years, right? Yeah. Where like it happens about every 5 years or so. You'll have a year where like a lot of stuff changes and kind of makes it the new normal. I think this is one of those years.
Yeah, they put the league in rice and everything is just kind of resetting right now. Today's show, I want to talk a little bit about the game from a couple nights ago. The Golden State game. I really liked what I saw from JaVale McGee. I have a bit of a theory there. So we're going to finish the first segment on that kind of stuff, and then in segments 2 and 3 I'll pull up questions, and Pete and I will take questions here from the iTunes mailbag, which is still astronomically filled. We also have a question that I said I was going to think more about, and I didn't because I'm not very good at this, but I'll think about it during the break, and then I'll drop it on Pete and see what he thinks about that. But I want to talk about JaVale. He played easily his best game of the season, I thought, yesterday, or a couple days ago by the time people are listening to this. And not only do I think it was not a coincidence because they were playing Golden State, and they, I mean, if not for the Knicks existing, would be the worst team in the NBA right now. But also, I kind of feel like without Anthony Davis there, like I don't think he and Anthony Davis have great chemistry and playing together. And AD not being there and JaVale just being able to just go full rover in the key and have the entire key to himself on both sides of the court, I thought really helped him look like the JaVale that we saw last year.
Yes. Is it wrong of me to be like, games against the Warriors don't count?
No, not at all. That was the first caveat.
It's good to see the ball go in the basket. It's good to put up $120, get a nice relaxing win that does not have you like freaking out because the Lakers are down 15 to the Bulls
funny.
Or something.
Even Vogel was like, that was nice.
yeah. Just you gotta have those once in a while, man. Yeah. It's a long season. Like Lakers put it away or just under deep control very early on, and it coasted to the victory. But with JaVale, he's actually been playing better the last few games. This was the best and the loudest of them, but. Like JaVale's a functional role player. If he's a 2-shift guy, he can give us 2 decent shifts. He started out the season very poorly the first 5-6 games or so, and now he's playing better. It's just the life of a role player.
Yeah, I think so too. And you made a point very early in the season that people may pay more closely or the attention they pay is a lot closer the first 5 games than at any 5 games of at any point in the season, other than maybe like the last 5 in a playoff race or something like that. But I think there's something to that. Although it's just that the spacing that JaVale had yesterday felt optimal for what JaVale wants to be able to do. He's just like, he's an incredible athlete who wants space and wants the key all to himself. And I don't think, while the bigger factor was Golden State being abysmal, like I tweeted at one point, I was in charge of Silver Screen's tweets, and I said that this might be the worst defense I've ever seen. Yeah. And the Locked On Mavs host, Nick Angstadt, said actually it's the second worst defense of all time.
No kidding. I didn't know that.
Like, since, it's only dating back to 1974 when we actually had stats to track defense and stuff like that. But yeah, they're that bad.
That whole team is taking a year off. They went to the finals 5 straight. I know it's a bunch of different guys, but just everybody, Steve Kerr included, is just on a nice long sabbatical and just give the kids some run. Let D'Angelo get 35 a night, and let's get that high draft pick and see what we can do to move it next summer,
Yeah, I feel like Willie Cauley-Stein has taken more than a year off for his career, but that point stands. All right, let's take a quick second. When we come back, we're going to open up with which Lakers are which Marvel characters. I answered this yesterday in passing.
You do 2 shows a week without me, right? where you can save content like
but this is like the reaction, the exact reaction I wanted. It's perfect. We'll be back in a bit. Before we get to Pete talking about Marvel characters and the hilarity that will definitely ensue there, today's show is brought to you in part by MyBookie. Head on over to mybookie.ag, enter the promo code LOCKEDONLAKERS, and get double your initial cash input if you're a first-time user there. MyBookie is the best way to get your bet in and then get your money out in a timely manner, and really that's all that really matters here. The way we've been doing this is we've been going with the MyBookie bet of the day. The Lakers are in action tomorrow night by the time you guys are listening to this, and they are favored by 8.5 points at home over the Sacramento Kings. So, Pete, do you think that is enough to be interested in Sacramento, or do you think you'd still take the Lakers outscoring the Kings by 9 or more?
I'm going to take the Lakers. I think they're starting to get on track on the offensive end. Things are starting to do a little better. I think this is going to be the first game where we've had everybody healthy. Maybe KCP's out, but I think the Lakers are using this time to kind of get in a rhythm. So I'm going to take Lakers on that.
If you bet the Kings right now, you're getting a shade under 3-1 odds. Would you make that bet?
3-1 that they come into LA
and win.
No. One of the things about this Laker team is I'm starting to trust them. Mm-hmm. Like they're going to come out every night and yeah, I know these are famous last words, but it's been, it's been 11 games. I think they come out and beat bad teams. I think that's what they do.
Yeah, I agree. I would easily lay those 8.5. I would easily bet the Lakers on this one. I might even bet the Lakers on this one. It's that nice of a bet. I do think like LeBron might take a little extra enjoyment in beating Luke. I don't think LeBron was the biggest fan of Luke last year. And like you said, and also Anthony Davis is probably going to play, it appears. That would seem to matter. I don't think Rondo is particularly fond of the Kings. Not that like Rondo goes out there and changes games by himself or whatever, but I think you add all these things up, and on top of the basketball reasons that you list, I think the Lakers have every reason to just go out and smoke Sacramento. Yeah,
I think there might be a few guys on the team too that would like to give Luke Walton some work. So yeah, that could be part of it.
Yeah, JaVale for sure. Absolutely. All right. That'll do it, though. That is the MyBookie.ag bet of the day. Head on over to MyBookie.ag. Use promo code LOCKEDONNBA to double your initial cash input. And hey, maybe join me on this bet. MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Hi, I'm Gavin Shaw.
And I'm Alex Wolf, and we're the hosts of Locked On Knicks. Hey, Gavin, remember on draft night when RJ Barrett was wearing that dope pink suit?
I do. It was right then I knew he was going to be a great Knick. And I had to know where he got that suit. It turns out it was Indochino, the world's largest made-to-measure men's brand. RJ's brand new collection with Indochino just dropped and features limited edition fabrics and jacket linings RJ helped design. And the beauty of Indochino is they give you the same level of customization.
If you want to look as fresh as RJ Barrett, you can. Indochino's process is the easiest way to get a completely custom-tailored suit experience without the cost or hassle of other shops. Simply go to your nearest Indochino store or measure yourself at home, choose your fabrics and customizations, and your very own custom suit, shirt, or chinos will be delivered right to your door in 2 weeks.
Start your style upgrade now with $30 off your total purchase of $399 or more at Indochino.com when entering Locked On at checkout. Plus, shipping is free.
That's Indochino.com, promo code Locked On, for $30 off your total purchase of $399 or more. An incredible deal for made-to-measure clothing.
You really have no excuse anymore to wear clothing that doesn't fit.
All right, so Pete and I spent the break pretty much laughing at the idea of Pete having to come up with Marvel characters on his own. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to describe a Marvel character, and Pete, you are going to tell me which Laker fits that description better than the other Lakers.
Okay.
All right, so we'll start with Iron Man. That's the first Marvel character everybody thinks of nowadays. He's this super genius who built himself a suit.
Is that Tony Stark?
Yeah, it's Tony Stark. So who do you think? Yeah, there you go. So who do you think, since you're able to name that, who do you think most closely resembles a super genius who was so smart he was able to build himself a super suit, questionable leadership skills, not the best people person, but in the end made a huge sacrifice and saved the entire world?
Jason Kidd.
I guess Tony Stark has a driver all the time, so it makes sense there. Let's go with the
Wow.
the next Marvel character that we will list here. We'll go Hulk. Hulk is this. You everybody knows Hulk.
I know who the Hulk is.
Yeah. So who do you have for the Hulk on the Lakers?
It doesn't do LeBron justice, right?
No, I don't think so.
Dwight?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I made Dwight Groot last night or in yesterday's show.
Is it the hair? The hair has to heavily factor in.
Somebody fired off a tweet that made me actually laugh out loud when I saw it. It's like, you can't have that FIFA ass hairdo and be that tall because birds will actually think you're a tree.
Hey man, Lakers got some jacked up haircuts on the roster this year, man. Like, they're winning, so I don't care. Yeah. But there's some rough,
I think that's when you immediately know you're aging. When you look around the NBA and you're like, I don't get these hairdos.
What are you doing?
That's that. I like Dwight for Hulk though. JaVale also kind of feels like a Hulk character too. Mm-hmm. So either of those guys. We'll go with Thor for the next one. He's a Norse god.
I know all of these so far.
Yeah, arguably the strongest character. He and Hulk like to go back and forth as far as who's the strongest Avenger. Actually became funny as the series has gone along. That's been kind of nice. That's been a nice development. Who do you think fits that description?
Thor. So it doesn't feel like a big man, right? This has got to be a guard. And this is just Lakers roster, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Man, we don't have many, strongest. I'm gonna go with Avery Bradley on that.
All right. It's like
maybe Danny Green. Danny Green is he's the what's his shot?
Yeah, that's Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. Yeah, that's the easiest one in the bunch here.
I said shot eye.
That's the late night version of Marvel's Avengers.
Oh Jesus, Anthony, you've gotten. What's going on tonight?
I'm drinking water. I don't
Are you drunk? Is your bloodstream like disrupted from the lack of?
Yeah, like I'm like
you're like woozy.
I'm sober. This isn't right.
Which is like being drunk for you. Yeah. Yeah, I'll go with Avery Bradley for Thor.
All right, and we already gave you Hawkeye for Danny Green. Mm-hmm. Let's go with Black Panther. You watched that movie, so you should know the description here.
That's LeBron, right?
Actually, somebody made the case. The listener who wrote in this question made the case for Black Panther. I agreed with it the more I read along with it, so I like it.
Yeah, he runs his kingdom, right? Like he's one of the kings that we're talking about here. You don't come with just LeBron. LeBron comes with the whole nation behind him. So yeah, I think he's Black Panther.
I like it. All right, and then we'll end on Captain America.
Captain America's Caruso, obviously.
Yeah, it's kind of weird though, right? Like Captain America, for some reason, has to be a white guy. Like
It doesn't have to be a white guy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying with the Lakers, he's obviously Alex Caruso.
Yeah, we need to get Alex Caruso some of the hair plugs to make him look more like Captain. I think that's the only thing stopping me from thinking he's Captain America is the lack of hair. This was fun.
It wasn't too bad.
You made it.
Too bad. I feel like you guys with the Marvel shit have like 800 characters. And so you tell me about the Hulk and only reason I knew about
Spider-Man. We didn't do Spider-Man.
What was Danny Green again?
Avery Bradley should be Spider-Man. That's the Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, with the arms and stuff. That's a good one.
Yeah.
We could do some other ones.
Yeah, we'll make it a longer show on a more off day. We have a ton of questions to get to here though.
Okay. Who's KCP?
Vision from the movies. From the movie.
Anthony, did you see like the people that found his burner account?
No.
You have to look this up right now. Look up KCP burner.
Mm-hmm.
It's this account. It's like 10 followed by a bunch of numbers.
Oh my God.
It signed up in November. Mm-hmm. Every tweet is about KCP, defending KCP.
Yeah.
And his middle name is Tanel.
All right, we're up for a break anyway. So I'm gonna look up this stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna look up this stuff, and then we're gonna go through the best tweets from KCP's burner.
Your team.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into Locked On Warriors.
You are Locked On Bucks.
Locked On Raptors.
Locked On Nuggets podcast.
Every day.
On Monday.
It's Taco Tuesday! On this Wednesday.
Thursday looks great. Starting this Friday.
When it comes to the biggest stories.
The leading storyline to watch for.
A couple things from the preseason have kind of piqued my interest even more in terms of how good this team can be.
Draymond spoke with the media after the game, and I thought he had the right outlook when it comes to this.
Yeah, that, means precisely nothing in the grand scheme of winning a championship, I guess, but...
You need to be Locked On.
That is LOCKEDON.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
In the Apple Podcast app.
Google Podcasts.
Spotify.
It's all coming up on today's edition of Locked On Jazz. Ow!
Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
The most KCP thing here isn't the fact that he has a burner. Is the fact that everybody has found his burner and he is not taking it down.
Yeah. Poor guy.
Yeah. All right. Let's go through a few of these tweets and then we'll actually analyze the situation here, because I actually wrote about this for Silver Screen and Roll after Dwight kind of defended him a bit. The first tweet at the top of his profile, at Tan 508-79294. Everyone want to hate on KCP, and all he's done is love this city.
It's very sweet, right? Like, take your feelings about KCP aside.
Yeah.
This whole city's been killing him. The whole Laker fan base been killing this dude. He has earned that with his play, but he has not been, his indiscretion that led him to the Seal Beach penitentiary or what have you was prior to his time with the Lakers. I don't know, man. It's just like everyone's killing him. He's just trying to defend himself and just saying, I love the city, please. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I wrote about this for Silver Screen and Roll. After the game, for one thing, I really didn't like that people were like happy that he got injured. That's always shady. Like, that's never the move.
Were they? I didn't hear that. If that happened, I was in charge of Silver Screen's tweets, and when I said that, KCP is going to the locker room holding his ankle / whatever. Sure, people responded. Yeah.
So that's some bullshit. I didn't like that. I never liked that. No matter the player.
Here's the thing, too. Like, look, we always talk about the community and all that, and it's all built around the Lakers as this thing that we collectively cheer for. Like, look, these dudes can drive me crazy, too. They are part of the Lakers family until they're not, right? And, like, I get it. I get how frustrating he is. I don't love making one of our own players feel like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the point that Dwight made. And I thought Dwight was the perfect person to make this point. Like, he has been the subject of the ire of the entire fan base in ways that very few human beings have ever been.
We're fucking 9-2.
Right.
Do we just need somebody to crap all over? Is that what this is?
I don't know if it's that. I think KCP, I don't think people like overpaid athletes. I think that's the starting point on this, is that people say, wait, the Lakers could do what else with the cap space that they're giving to KCP?
I think it's more raw than that. People don't generally boo because they're like, cap space. Like, it's more of a emotional thing,
I think you combine that with how loud his mistakes are. Like, he does things that are insane. I'm not explaining it. I'm not excusing it. I'm trying to explain it.
I get it. But he plays hard. He's not like,
he's been a hugely positive player on the Lakers this year.
Yeah, he's not a guy that, like, look, he may go 100 miles an hour into awful turnover or some wedgie layup or airballed layup or something. Not saying it's going to be good, but you can't get on him for lack of effort. That's never been a thing with him.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. He's one of ours. Like,
I kind of feel like the best way to look at KCP or to handle KCP is because, like, in every sports movie, there's the comedic relief. Mm-hmm. That's how you look at KCP.
Yeah, I tweeted that I just started getting into Parks and Rec, and that he's Jerry Gergich.
Yeah, it's perfect. Or Gary Gergich.
Although people liked Jerry, but people in the office at Parks and Rec did not like him.
Yeah,
he's just one of those guys. It's always like, yeah, of course. Like that wedgie layup, it was like, of course.
Yeah,
of course it was KCP. JaVale is the only other guy on the team that has a chance of happening to, and he dunks everything, so it's not going to happen.
No, I think the wedgie that JaVale has is going to be with that skyhook. He keeps trying.
There you go.
That's what it's going to be. I wrote about it, like I said, and just from a human standpoint, it's just it would suck to go through it. And this is like the good times, by the way. Like you said, they're 9-2. Imagine if they go through like a 2 or 3 game losing streak and KCP airballs a layup.
Yeah, like go if you need to get like any Laker frustration out, go pick on the Celtics or so, or just find someone outside.
The Clippers are right there.
The Clippers are playing like crap right now.
Yeah.
Go pick on the Clippers. Leave KCP alone. Give the man like just a couple days. And yeah. Sorry, that is my plea to Lakers fans. Like, we shouldn't be making our own players feel like that. And yes, I get all the stuff with not when things are good. Exactly.
Yeah. Like, over the last few years, last year was frustrating to see KC. Look, I am one of the loudest people about the problems I have with KCP. The fact that, like, when games matter, he's bad on offense. But the thing is, just look at the numbers. The numbers say there is no player other than Alex Caruso who holds a lower defensive rating than KCP does this year.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis is on the team.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. Yeah.
He's done his job on the defensive end. He's been a tire fire on offense.
Yeah. It's kind of annoying. I mean, it's how the Lakers operate, but it's kind of annoying that we didn't get any further news on what's going on with him today. So, all right. Kobe James 234 writes, "Love the pod. Been listening for over a year now. How does Kuzma for Anthony Simons sound? We need a guard. Portland needs a 4 rookie contracts. I would love to know what you think about this." Pete?
I would not do that. You?
Man, that's tough. Simons is under team control for another year beyond Kuzma, I think, right?
It's not even about that. Like, I really like Simons. I was at his workout last year, at least the tail end of it. Kid can shoot. He's going to be a Lou Williams type of guy. We're looking to win NBA titles right now.
Yeah.
Right now. And Kuzma is closer. Simons is tiny. He's like, have you seen his face? He looks like he's 14 years old.
He reminds me of Damon Stoudemire, like a right-handed Damon Stoudemire.
I like that. I like that comparison.
Yeah.
But Kuzma is more ready to help us win a title now.
Yeah, I saw somebody, and I really respect Jared, so I'm not even going to subtweet him. I'll just come out and say Jared Dubin was saying that, like, the Lakers don't have a use for Kuzma, and I didn't get that. The Lakers very obviously could use a player like Kuzma. Now, when they get Andre Iguodala, does Kuzma's value drop a little bit? Sure. Yeah. Because, like, in those playoff settings, you probably need Iguodala's defense in those big moments. Then you might need Kuzma, given the shooter that he is right now. But yeah, man, that's a tough one. I really like Simons. But I'm probably with you. I'm probably with you on Kuzma here, just because the Lakers need known quantities, and even while Kuzma still has upside, he's more of a known quantity than Simons is. But as soon as any Blazers fans hear me say that I would not do that, they'd probably laugh at the question. All right.
Yeah, I mean, of course, they're in a different spot than we are. They're 4-8. You know, tell them that.
They aren't going to the playoffs, according to
That's right. Tell them we said that. They can laugh all they want. They're 4-8.
Vegas Richard writes, "Hey, Anthony and Pete, love the show. Listen to you guys all the time. Thanks. Since we have 4 duos to compare, who would win out of these duos? Jerry West and Will Chamberlain, Kobe and Shaq, Magic and Kareem, and LeBron and AD, with the winners facing off just basically a 2-on-2 tournament. How do you think that plays out?
It's me and you against. We're on the same team?
No. The 4 duos listed here are Jerry West and Wilt Chamberlain, Kobe and Shaq, Magic and Kareem, and LeBron and AD. So in a 2-on-2 tournament between those 4 duos, who wins? Who comes out on top?
I'm so sorry. I completely spaced out for a moment. I've been doing so much freaking work right now. I'm like, pick up
a lot of confidence in us. You got us going against LeBron and AD.
I'm so tired. I'm sorry. I'll get more sleep before the next pod.
I'll lock down Jerry West though. But
they cannot dribble with their left hand before a certain point. So
no. So I think Jerry West and Wilt are the first team out.
Yes. I was having a hilarious conversation with Aaron Larsoul today about this, but we have to set some parameters. Are we just like teleporting players from their exact year and, no training or anything, and just like, because whoever the newest one is going to win. But if we're like talking relative greatness,
Kobe and Shaq, prime Kobe and prime Shaq would probably give prime LeBron and prime AD a good run for their money.
I think prime AD has a better chance of defending Shaq, and I know the weight differential there, but with his length and all of that, than Shaq has of defending AD. So, I'd go with LeBron and AD on that, just because humans get better at stuff, and it's 15 years later, and AD is a Swiss Army knife that does a little bit of everything. And then in a 2-on-2 environment, like ball handling, I think becomes more important. So that's another, notch for AD and LeBron. But yeah, you could make a case for Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah, I probably have. So it's basically the way it's listed here is Jerry and Wilt versus Kobe and Shaq. Kobe and Shaq win that one pretty easily. And then Magic and Kareem against LeBron and AD. I think LeBron and AD win that one pretty easily. And then you have Shaq and Kobe going up against LeBron and AD. And I think if they were to play like 100 times, LeBron and AD probably win like 55 of them. I think that's how I'd probably have that favored. It's a fun, think about how blessed we are.
Yeah, to be able to ask that question. Orlando, it's like, would you rather have DJ Augustine and washed up Grant Hill?
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. A bunch of letters here is the name from Connor. Hey, Anthony, I asked a question along these lines back in late July, but now that we are in November, how do you think D'Lo would do on this team, and who would we have missed out on? Thanks. Love the content.
D'Lo would have done poorly on this team. His mentality does not fit them, and I say that as a D'Lo stan myself. Mm-hmm. This is a group of a bunch of very rugged, tough dudes that are trying to whip your ass every night. Could we use the shot creation of D'Angelo Russell? Abso-friggin-lutely. But he would have been that whipping boy that we, just as he was when he was here, that, he would have driven us crazy, because he does not always compete in ways that the rest of this team really does that would really make him stand out.
I still think so. If the question is basically like, would you rather have D'Angelo Russell over like Danny Green and Avery? No, because Avery Bradley was signed with an exception, right? So
are we talking the player or the asset here?
Well, no, so who would, had the Lakers not waited for Kawhi, because waiting for Kawhi cost them the opportunity to sign D'Angelo Russell, right? Mm-hmm. But waiting for Kawhi the way that they did allowed them to also be able to sign Danny Green.
Well, would you have maxed D'Angelo? Because that's what kept the Lakers from signing D'Angelo Russell, was he got a max offer somewhere. He's going to take that, right?
Yeah,
we were talking about D'Angelo in the 20 to 22 range.
Yeah, I would not want D'Angelo Russell on his current contract.
I agree.
I would not. Now the skill, like the player D'Angelo Russell, like if all things were equal and I could have D'Angelo Russell on this team instead of like Danny Green, I think there's a case to be made there that I would like to see what that. It's a very different team, but I'd like to see what that team looks like. But overall, I can't really complain about the way the roster is built right now.
Mm-hmm.
Last question here before we throw to the weekend, and we throw to the weekend well behind schedule. Laker fanboy writes, "Hey guys, love the show. Appreciate your thoughtful insight on the team. Wondering about Kuzma. If he doesn't improve 10 to 15 games in, should we trade him, and who can we get? I also saw some rumors on the internet suggest Kawhi has Asperger's. I'm not going to talk about that. If this is true, could it possibly affect his perspective on injury history and blah, 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 blah. And also, pineapple on pizza is awesome piece. So yeah, I agree on that last point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm not gonna comment on somebody.
These are your people, Anthony.
Whoa. We have seen like complete ends of the spectrum here.
No pun intended.
Yeah. But about Kuzma, the problem with trying to trade Kuzma is that he's on such a small contract that you would also have to attach another player to him to be able to get the kind of player that you need to get if you're going to trade away Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah, you only get to really start having these conversations if you can convince KCP that he'd be better off having a fresh start somewhere. And that $8 million plus the $2-ish million that I don't know if he's at 2 or 3, but Kuzma is right in that range. That gets you to $11 million. You can bring back, I think, $16 million worth of player. I think it's, that plus $5 million in that range. It's either that or plus 150% of the contracts going out. So you can get into that like mid-teens type area for a player you bring back. That's when you start being able to is Spencer Dinwiddie somebody that the Lakers would be interested in? With Kyrie having that starting job locked up forever, they don't have much in the way of forwards in Brooklyn. That might make some sense for them. But do you kind of shuffle one pretty good player for Kuz for another in Dinwiddie? Both are defensive liabilities. Do you basically trade Kuz as a forward for his version of being a guard? Those are interesting questions to have. But Lakers are 9-2 right now, and I think they need a wing defender and another shot creator, but ideally without giving up, the value that they have, because you lose something in losing Kuz in that.
Yeah, the Lakers. We've said this a few times on the show in various iterations of this point, but the Lakers aren't going to be able to add to their team via trade this year. It's just not going to happen. They're probably going to have to wait out the buyout market and get into the buyout market to be able to do that. But the problem with the Lakers, as you said, is everybody who isn't an important part of the rotation that you would want to trade, they either have legitimate no trade clauses in KCP's case, or inherent no trade clauses. Yeah, it's and also like the Lakers draft capital is also like they can't really trade a first rounder for the next feels like a decade. So that's the, and again, this is, and I've also made this point too. Yes, the Lakers could technically get better. Yes, this roster could technically be better right now if different things had fallen different ways. But the Lakers are 9-2, and there's value in just enjoying being 9-2 without thinking about what trades can be made. And this is me saying this. Like I'm addicted to the trade machine. It's one of the tabs that I almost always have open. But there's value in just enjoying the ride and enjoying being 9-2 for the first time since forever. Really.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about right now. Like we've been talking about this for forever.
Yeah. All right, let's I said that was going to be our last question. But I want to like talk about an actual this team basketball question. So I'll just ask you one then, Pete. What do you think the point guard, the true point guard rotation looks like? Because I kind of came up with this a little bit last night. I basically said it was Rajon Rondo and Caruso get the bulk of the minutes that go to true point guards, right? So not counting the minutes that go to Avery Bradley. But Rajon Rondo and Alex Caruso are the only guys who, like, on a nightly basis are going to get minutes. And then it just depends between Quinn Cook and Troy Daniels who's hitting shots that night.
Yeah, I don't think Caruso actually ends up getting a ton of minutes going forward with Rondo back. Not minutes, but minutes at point guard. Is that like primary ball handler?
Yeah.
Meaning that they, I was
about to like.
I know. I saw you're starting to like twitch. And stuff, like,
excuse me.
Yeah. No,
you're gonna bench Captain America?
That can you run the point guard type of role? I think that. Rondo is going to be handling most of that and if Caruso's in the game, it'll be alongside Rondo as the 2 or alongside LeBron, but both playing more of an off-ball role. He'll have it some of the time, but I think those two guys will have much more control over that. So I think his role is actually going to be more similar to Avery Bradley's in that respect.
Yeah, I agree. All right, fun weekend ahead. Lakers have a couple games, I believe. They have one tomorrow night or tonight by the time you guys are listening to this, and then I believe Sunday again. So get your questions in the form of a 5-star review, and I will answer them. We are actually just about caught up. I thought we were way further behind than we actually were. So there's plenty of room for questions if you want to get them in the form of a 5-star review on iTunes. A fun game ahead. Pete and I have a couple more bets on the board here, or another bet on the board here, so I'll put that up and we'll figure out what it is that we actually have on the line. But for now, have a great rest of your weekend. Make somebody else's, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
What's up, everybody? I'm William, the Opinion Updike.
And I'm Positive Chuck Mockler.
And we host the Locked On Clippers podcast.
Two best friends give you all Clippers everything every single weekday.
We know a little bit, but have a lot to say, so get ready for some real talk from real fans.
Find us on Twitter and Facebook at Locked On Clippers, and tune in Monday through Friday for up-to-date content about the best basketball team in Los Angeles.
Well, aren't they kind of
No, we're the best one.
Locked On Clippers, local experts on the biggest stories in the NBA.
The Locked On Podcast Network has the ultimate NBA podcast starting 5. Starting at podcast number 1 is your favorite team's daily podcast from a local expert. Starting at the podcast number 2 is Locked On NBA, your daily 30-minute look at what happened the night before and what's upcoming. At the number 3 spot is Locked On Fantasy Basketball, the number 1 fantasy basketball show in the land. And the podcast number 4 position is Rejecting the Screen with Noah Kozlov and Adam Stanko. And finally, the big men in the middle, the unequaled Hollinger and Duncan NBA show with former NBA executive and analytics godfather John Hollinger. It's Locked On Podcast Network's NBA podcast Ultimate Starting 5. Follow all 5 on your favorite podcast provider.